We often hear about how congressional approval is lower and lower and lower. And we actually have new numbers as far as the Gallup tracking poll on congressional approval, which have congressional approval at only 16%, which is the lowest since these rankings ever began back in 1974. Now, for comparison, it's 22%. It's lower than the 22% low in 1994, which of course led to Republicans doing really well in those midterm elections. I have to question, and here's the straightforward question we have to ask. Do congressional approval ratings matter at all? And what I mean is this. Congressional approval ratings go down and down and down. But individual approval ratings for your congressperson aren't being affected in the same way. And what I think this leads back to is this idea that voters think Congress overall is doing a terrible job, but they don't really think it's their elected representative's fault. In other words, the institution is really unable to do anything, but the person they voted in is actually doing okay. And this is supported by the data, right? The incumbent typically has more money in every campaign, and the candidate with more money typically wins. So in spite of record low congressional approval, it's still not getting easier to knock out incumbents. Do you think, Lewis, that this dynamic where, yes, I disapprove of the job Congress is doing, but I don't specifically link it to my elected official, so I'm still going to vote for them to stay in, is that a factor here?
It could be. I'm very curious to know what the numbers are throughout history overall of congressional approval. I would guess that generally across the board, overall congressional approval has probably been consistently pretty low.
Yeah, well, like I said, we're at a record low. As you're pointing out the important thing, which is we only have data dating to 1974 from Gallup. So before that, we don't really know, and it's hard to. We could maybe surmise it from op-eds and other media, but we don't have an equivalent tracking poll. Congressional approval is never incredibly high, but we are seeing record low after record low.
I think there's the laziness factor here when it comes to incumbents and researching new candidates and things like that. I think it's just easy to vote for the person who has been representing you for a long time.